Very disciplined exchange from Gamin. Take a 5 buyback and reset with 40K net worth lead.
Mickey is going to have Abyssal Blade, so if he can get the jump on somebody with this Divine Rapier, maybe he can pop them. Forstaff trying to get him out of the way, but 33 just nullifier can't let him get away. No buy. It's a 4 versus 5 now with an Aegis on Gamin Gladiators on a 40,000 net worth lead, and the throne at half HP. A jump onto Duraccio. Duraccio is forcing the attention of Liquid onto him. Mickey, when's he going to hit this bound? The strike goes for it, but got hit by the Requiem at the same time. Quid's back up to full health, and they'll chase after Insania for the dieback. Now it's 2. Nisha with the BKB. Burrow striking out of the base, but your throne is dead. 2-0 now for Gamin Gladiators in the grand finals.
They have been here before as well. We saw only one team come back in the history of Gamin Gladiator grand finals from this position. It was Azure Ray at KL.
Earlier this year, yep.
They reverse swept it.
And I'll just say, Duraccio did call that he was going to 3-0 this final.
That is true.
And he did say that against Azure Ray.
That is true.
So we'll see if he jinxed himself.
However, these are very different circumstances.
Yeah, how so? What do you mean?
You know, I think Liquid has also been here before and are maybe starting to get some flashbacks, some very unpleasant flashbacks right now about watching another team lift the trophy that they have longed for a very long time. This would be another crushing defeat for them to be this close once more and lose it to the same team again in the same way. At some point, you have to question what your reality is and whether you're going insane. I feel like I'm going insane watching this play out.
The story of Sisyphus continues.
Do something
for Liquid. As the boulder is just about to roll back down the hill for them in their attempt to win another grand finals, down 0-2 against Gamin Gladiators.
Gamin Gladiators, can we just take a moment, Kazu, to appreciate how insane these guys are?
Yeah, I think we can and we have to, because it's not just about the draft and what they do with like their auras and going to get them in a 10 or 15. It's like you make the first move on them, they dodge it. They make the first move on you, they succeed. You get your Blink Dagger and Celery does some play mid where like he baits it, pushes himself away. It's like all the small little things, which ultimately is what gives them the lead later on.
This game was looking a little bit more competitive, at least for the first, like, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, like they weren't even that. They were behind like 1k gold against an alt lineup, like minute 10, 11, 12. That's not a big problem, but the problem is when they dodge your moves, they get their auras, they go together and they hit their timings. I just feel like there's a little bit of maybe the clutchness factor missing for Liquid to like succeed with their moves. I don't know if it's Gamin or they just out moving you so hard that you can't make any of those moves, but they need to find an answer for the next game.
And they did also got gamed a little bit in the draft with Shadow Fiend last pick coming out.
Yeah, I think I didn't see it coming. I don't think they saw it coming either. I think going to the next game, maybe you have to remove the Chen or pick something where instead of taking these long fights, you can be like, boom, we're gonna take a fast fight. Bad Rider with a Timber Saw, pure damage. I don't know what it is. It's up to them to figure it out.
Okay, quick question. Why doesn't Liquid play Chen or Enchantress if it's so good?
Apparently they don't want to play it. I don't know.
Seems like they're missing out.
They are missing out, but then you need to find a different answer. Because sometimes play to your strengths. I feel like right now they're trying to match Gamin. Maybe they can find a way to stick to their comfort while finding the answer against what they need to do.
So is it just that simple? Like, it starts from the draft, but it's not, because the thing is, it's not just draft, and we say this every time. It's like, oh, all they need to do is deal with this hero in the draft and be prepared for that hero in the draft and have that hero on their radar. But then the game comes along, and we actually think, like, oh, maybe, you know, they have a shot, and they start off really strong. But the gameplay itself.
Yeah, it is not just a draft. There's gameplay. It's all the small things, like we're saying, where they dodge your move. Like, there's something on stage or in the grand finals when you go against Gamin. It just looks like your moves are harder to do. You need to be faster, more decisive, have better setup, and they're missing out on that right now.
Yeah, we did see quite a few couple of clutches. Of course, the stun from the Ratcho, the Alchemist, as he was about to potentially die when his Chemical Rage ended. And of course, very early on, there was another cool play by the Ratcho, and it is BSJ that would like to tell us more about that.
Thank you, Shiver. As the story of this tournament for Gamin has been the laning phase and teams struggling to get past it, in this game, I wanted to break down something that befuddled me a little bit as the casters were befuddled themselves of how Dyrachyo was having such a seemingly tough early game, but how they managed to come back, partially due to the mistakes of Liquid. So we're going to start off my first clip by showing a nice, casual self-stun to secure the range creep for Dyrachyo, and you're going to see that he's already died once, and once he dies here, as we pause, we're going to see that his TP is on a 50-second cooldown. So you're like, okay, this guy's 0-2, started the lane. How does he end up being the #1 net worth so convincingly later? So as we see, Dyrachyo has actually smoked his way back to lane. So he's going to be here a little bit earlier than Liquid is expecting because they knew his TP was on cooldown. And they're going to decide to commit onto Celery here, 33, and Boxy. And notice how Celery is level 3 and Alchemist is only level 1. But look at what happens after this. Dyrachyo is going to take most of Boxy's HP, and Boxy is going to barely escape. But this is something that you really shouldn't feel like should be happening if Dyrachyo is only level 1. So this is barely 30 seconds later. Boxy has salved up. You'd think, okay, maybe we can pressure Dyrachyo a little bit more. Celery gets the pull off over here, but they're going to go on Celery again. And I want to highlight that Boxy and 33, who have control of this lane so far, they're both sitting at full HP right now, and Dyrachyo is barely level 2. So what happens here is they're going to go on Celery, and they're going to get the kill, which seems great for Liquid and all, but look at the results after the play. We see Boxy that's going to drop below half, no mana, from the tower, and 33, who's below half with no mana, and Dyrachyo, full HP, half mana. Suddenly, this lane's looking a little bit better for Dyrachyo. Then we pull up the next clip. Has Liquid learned their lesson yet? Let's find out. Dyrachyo and Celery, you see them actually setting up on Boxy for the blast off. Actually, they go on Celery again, and there's going to be virtually no investment from Dyrachyo, who, out of all of these engagements, has taken virtually no damage. So suddenly, after being 0-2 at a minute and a half into the game, Dyrachyo is the #1 net worth only 4 minutes in. And this is a crucial part of what gets Gamin off the ground. They have such a tempo-based lineup. Liquid perhaps choosing the wrong hero to be aggressive on. Will they mix up that approach in game 3? Because they had a lot of things going for them in the first 3 minutes, but it's got to be more than good first 3 minutes just to take a game off of Gamin. Let's check in with Purge and Fear to see what they're doing out in the audience.
Thanks, BSJ. Yeah, I'm hanging out with Fear, and we're looking at this club champion trophy and the wall. I'm really excited to see what happens. But so far, it's looking a little one-sided.
Yeah, Gamin's one game away from getting their name on there, and Liquid really have to pull it together. As Ryan did say, they had a good 3 minutes, but they got to last longer on that against Gamin Gladiators, as this is a team that will run you over. And a good 4-stab plays, they had a bunch of good team fight items, and Liquid just can't answer it.
I really had more hope at the start of the game, though, because they were pressuring Dyrachyo, like Brian pointed out, and the mid lane wasn't looking so good. Quinn got 2 solo kills, I believe, so it was like there was hope. But why did the net worth not change? Like, they were getting kills on the Gladiators heroes, and I'm just staring at the net worth. It didn't bug.
They just kept farming with Alchemist, right? And they made that one rotation through the portal to the bot lane, and that changed everything. It opened up the lane for Dyrachyo. He got top net worth of the game. Quinn continued to have top net worth. And then Ace, yeah, he didn't have a great game, but those 2 cores just carried him through the mid game.
Yeah, and then they just kept buying aura items, which solidified the game. So we'll see if the same thing happens in the next game. We're going to jump to a break, and when we come back, game number 3.
Look, I will bubble.
Yeah.
No. I go.
Hello? Connecting? I'm connecting. Yeah, I'll catch him. Stunning him. I'm Giga slowing him. What?
Unlucky. It's all good, guys. Shit happens.
It's the EWC and you want to play like a pro. Well, we've got a lesson for you. Axe on. You're fresh, ready to fight and grind those long hours. It's how it should be. Axe off. You're slow, unfocused, and lagging. Do you get it? Let's go again. To unleash your best game, you must freshen up first. Get your axe on. Spray, play, repeat. Axe and Esports World Cup.
Welcome to the esports district of the Riyadh Boulevard. My name is Slax, and I'm going to take you guys on a exciting, adrenaline-fueled journey to go see the top 5 wonders of Le Boulevard. Follow me. Don't get lost. There will be no breaks. Come, come. Welcome to another one of our wonders, the Boulevard Studio Water Tower, baby. That is right. This is where the art happens. This is where the films are made. You're watching a film made at the studio right now. It's Inception. You're watching it happen. Not only delicious, nutritious water from there, you also get the juice, the power. Look at those cords, powering up those stoplights, powering up those cameras. Our camera is connected to the tower, which goes to all of the broadcasts at once, all other games. So it's the epicenter of all creativity in the Boulevard, and you are part of it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wonder of Riyadh here. This is a beautiful area that's quite reminiscent of another little area you might know. Maybe in New York, geography majors, and tell everybody what it looks like. Yes, from this angle, it looks like an incredible American landmark, but it is not. In fact, it is in Riyadh. You're still there, and you're seeing all the wonders and glory that the Esports World Cup has to offer. Truly is an incredible experience to walk down these streets. It's a wonder. Oh! That's right, my friends. We got our own sphere over here in Riyadh. This is the Riyadh sphere right here. You've seen other lesser spheres, but do they have the moon? A celestial object? No, because this one goes across the stars. In fact, look, perhaps that's the sun, or not. It is a decoration of some sort. I don't know what it is, but I do know that if it is spherical, it will appearical on this circle, okay? I come out here sometimes and contemplate my life. I look upon the sphere and I ask for answers. Great sphere, who will win Dota 2's event? The sphere knows, but will it share? No, for it is a wonder. And now, dear viewers, I take you somewhere away from the techno music, the gamers, and the cringe to a serene moment. Welcome to the large waterfall fountain. It is truly a beautiful sight that is so serene and a nice break away from all the excitement of the Boulevard, one of my most favorite spots. And this is why it is a wonder of the Riyadh Boulevard. Now, you might be asking yourselves, what is the last wonder that is here today? And that, my friends, is you, dear viewer. You are the final wonder of the Riyadh Boulevard. You always have been. Stupid, you didn't figure that out yet. It was one of those pieces. Duh! It was always you, dear viewer. So thank you for joining me on this incredible journey to discover all the wonders of the Riyadh Boulevard. And don't forget how special you are. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye!
Only one more game stands between between Gamin Gladiators and winning the title, the championship here at Riyadh Masters live from the Esports World Cup. And that comes paired with $1.5 million. It also comes paired with extra points for Gamin Gladiators for the club championship, for which they still have a shot at making it very far as well over the next 5 weeks. But Team Liquid, they really prepared for this, but we have yet to see this preparation really pay off potentially in this game number 3. We'll see it. I will say though, Gamin is looking incredibly strong. Will Team Liquid be able to force out a next game in this best of 5 series? It is very much dependent on the draft that we're going to break down with Kezu, BSJ, and Fear. For game number 3, we'll have Team Liquid on the Dire side. We'll have Gamin Gladiators on the Radiant side. We have a change up, a big one. Snapfire and Hoodwink still in the pool, and we got 3 new bans, well, new-ish, I should say, in Chen Enchantress and the Broodmother, Brewmaster there as well, TA and Sven banned out, but so far the one left in, Kezu, is the one you asked me about earlier. It's Doom.
I feel like they're either gonna first pick that or ban it away. I do like at least the change up for Team Liquid. I will say that I don't think they're losing only on draft. There's no way that that is the fact, but you always want to make it more simple. And I feel like when they didn't ban the Chen Ench, they never got trades. At least when you leave in the Weaver, Hoodwink, Snapfire, whatever, you can trade. Then play your lanes and just let the skill kind of speak for itself. Because in the last games, their laning stages, in my opinion, have not been on par. I think, Brian, you showed that also in your segment, because something needs to change.
You know, I'm gonna huff some copium here, as last team to get reverse sweeped in a grand final was Gamin Gladiators themselves in Kuala Lumpur against Azure Ray. And if anybody recalls, Game 3, Gamin Gladiators had a commanding lead, and then one play turned that game, and I feel like shifted the entire momentum of that series. And based on what I saw from Team Liquid in Game 1 during my analysis, and also when I was combing through the early game, it just felt like they're forcing a lot of things. They feel panicked. They're making uncharacteristic mistakes. And I almost feel like they've lost faith that they can trust that they can just play their own game and it'll be enough. And I think one play in the mid game of this game could shift the tides of that entire dynamic. So that's my copium for the series.
Well, they do go back to some of their ideas, Fear, that they started with Tiny on the first pick for Team Liquid. Or
I mean,
second overall.
This is definitely their last chance here. Luckily, it is a best of 5. They're trying multiple different angles here on how to crack the Gamin Gladiators code. This time they decided it's going to be the Chen, Brood, and Enchantress. We're going to ban out these heroes. We're going to leave in the OP supports that we lost to in game number 1 here. That is fine, and we're just going to probably make a trade. So they're going for what I see is the last angle here to try and beat Gamin Gladiators. Will it work? We'll have to see here, and this is where things can be either very promising for you if you take this game like, hey, they're winning because of these heroes. I think we figured out the formula, or it's going to be very demoralizing and be like, we just can't crack this code. We cannot crack Gamin Gladiators. And this is going to be an interesting matchup already. Weaver's a very strong hero right now. One of the big position 4s and carries that are strong in the lane, but Team Liquid has shown this Tiny has been very impressive for them, and it is very good versus Weaver as well. So far, so good. Fingers crossed.
I will say that I like the follow-up bans from Gamin Gladiators. I feel like Weaver is just an incredible support, and they also like taking out the ones that I feel like they threaten you more. If I play Weaver into a Snapfire, which is what they left open, I don't really care. Like being caught by a cookie is really hard, dying to Mortimer's Kisses as well. So their ban's kind of on point there. But if I'm like Team Liquid, you still need to look for like a similar combo. You need to have your Tiny be enabled with follow-up damage if they're gonna look to have Nisha played, which I feel like generally has been the case for them, right? You just play for the crash landing, whatever, good mid lane, have some combos, because they're gonna need supports that can play with their bro Tiny.
Yeah, I mean, the bad news is, though, is Weaver is one of Team Liquid's most banned heroes, and they have not beat it yet.
Yeah.
So that's obviously not great, but they do have the Tiny this time. This is a first pick Weaver, and I don't think Dirachu has played this Weaver yet, which I think could be good news for them.
I mean, it definitely fits into his arsenal of heroes, but if there's other heroes open, which obviously they are, right? Their Alchemist, even the CK, that's a hero that was banned out, I believe, in the last 2 games. This is the first time that he is going through.
They'll almost certainly pick it up, as against Beastmaster, one of the best things to do is just be aggressive consistently, close the gap on him, pressure him so he doesn't have the ability to send the board, to stack the Ancients, and play for efficiency. I can't fathom any other pick than CK coming out for Gamin Gladiators. You know, I remember in Pure's interview when Tundra's in the upper bracket, if it ain't broke, why would I bother fixing it? Yep. I'm sure Gamin Gladiators is thinking something similar, as this is the first time that Team Liquid on second pick, because second pick gets 4 first-round bans, that they've elected to just eliminate all the summons Auras buyers that Gamin has used as their staple to their strategy. So it is a completely different approach than we've seen in any of the 4 games from Team Liquid, as they've been first pick in 3 of those. Yep. There's the CK. What pairs with it to help punish this Beastmaster in lane?
I mean, if we go back an hour ago to the pre-game of this one, I talked about Dyrachyo's 2 heroes I don't want to see him play to shut down. One was Brood, the other one was CK. Try to make them in a position where they feel like Dyrachyo has to expand to something else that, honestly, he hasn't been very successful outside of 3 heroes right now, but he's getting those 3 heroes, in fact, his top 2 heroes every single time. So Team Liquid are taking a completely different route. I do like the fact that they're not giving Chen away, at least. So that is one good thing, but they'll grab another Aura buyer here in the Enigma. Not entirely sure where this one's going to go. It can go to the off lane. Could also be a position 5 for them if they want to go that route. But yeah, I don't know if any of us could have called the Enigma on this particular one. It doesn't stand out like a super good Enigma game by any means, but buys Auras, I suppose.
Yeah, they haven't picked it yet on either Celery or Ace. So this is a completely new hero for GG, and that's kind of based on what Liquid's forced to be done by the Auras, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one of the nice things is that they can kind of mask it until later, because your Weaver could be the 4, where the Enigma can go into the offlane, or right, otherwise if they feel like, okay, fine, we'll just put the Enigma 5 pick on your offlaner, they can do that after these next 2 picks. But for Liquid, this support pool is kind of starved, at least from the ones that you would want to take and want to play. You need to help your Beast in the lane against a CK Enigma. So what does my bro Boxy want to cook here?
Snapfire in the pool?
He is in the pool still.
Yeah, that's one of the ones he could go for if he wants to focus on trying to win laning stage here. And that's going to be a very early pick Shadow Fiend here. One good thing about this hero, though, for Liquid is, we saw earlier, they're willing to play it on multiple roles. So they could play carry on Mickey. I'm sure Nisha would love to play it as well if he has a good lane matchup.
I guess it's still the question is like what support they want to pick up. You said the Snap, which probably makes the most sense.
Marcy maybe, just to enable the SF flex. Okay, Rubik for the Black Hole.
Yeah, I mean, I think
as well.
Shadow Fiend is kind of like a specialty counter to the Enigma. Some people like to play it there just because you can double raise the Eidolons. Add a Rubik Blast on top of it. We do know Insania loves to play Rubik in position 5. So this lane should be good if it is an Enigma off lane. Really good at Rubik game, though. You got Weaver and Enigma to steal spells from.
Are we still going for any flex potential on the Tiny? Because I once again look at this and I'm surprised that there might be position 5 coming out last on the side of Team Liquid.
I mean, he can. Tiny could be a 4 with the Beast, but I feel like this lane is not necessarily great. If I'm playing Beast, I just prefer range 4s that help me like through the lane a little bit, because laning against CK is not easy. Like even, sure, Rubik is fine there, but Rubik also doesn't like to kind of have heroes like really run over him. So I'm a little worried for that lane. But Gamin will be, needless to say, quite happy with this closing pick of a Darkseer in this phase. Builds your auras, he's good in lane. I can't really say anything bad about it.
Hear me out, the Shadow Demon for Boxy. Last overall pick, 5 position Rubik, carry SF, mid Tiny. Shadow Demon Dispel against the Darkseer, Iron Shell Surge, the save against Black Hole, create illusions of CK. It's the dream.
The dream.
Anything else or critiques?
Well, while you guys are thinking about that, let's get some words out from the coach of Entity. It's Estini with Purge.
Hey, Estini, what do you think about the draft so far?
I see GG, they have a position 5 that can build auras as Enigma. They have a position 3 that can build auras. They have a really strong laner on CK, on carry. And Weaver, also really strong laner. So they have what they had game 1, game 2. We've seen what happened game 1, game 2. So really good draft from GG. But this time I see Team Liquid, maybe they can set the tempo of the game. Because with Beastmaster, they can do an early Roche. they can take objectives with this SF. So if they somehow get an early lead, they can actually capitalize in this early lead. So I like this draft from Liquid better than the ones I've seen on the previous games.
Oh, yeah, what about the Tiny? They had a lot of success with that in group stage, just getting kills across the map consistently. I don't know what position it's going to be at this point. It's still flexible, but surely the toss facet, the most OP facet in the game, can do something, right?
It's definitely broken. And the good thing about Tiny, as you said, you don't know the role, because also GG cannot know the role because it's a flex hero. So you can always choose to go position 4 on the hero, and you're gonna be a position 4 that cut waves. So if you have a melee 4, you don't need to full commit on playing the lane, and you can cut waves against a team that always wants to play a very strong lane, as this CK Enigma.
All right, well, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Estini and Purge. He feels like Team Liquid's got a better draft than the previous 2 games, but still very much liking what Gamin Gladiators is cooking up as well.
I mean, it just kind of seems hard to get Gamin out of their comfort zone. I will say that it is an absolute good point that, of course, they have the beast. They can look to get the first Aegis with like the Axe timing and then play like through their SF. Like also before this game, I was looking, maybe they want to play some SF Marcy, just some Liquid strat. You know, set the tempo yourself and try. So I do like that they have that going for them, but I will say Gamin have a very nasty draft, at least for now, to deal with that.
They end up banning Wind Ranger at the very last second they had available, and they pick up that Sand King.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really play that a lot. Most likely gonna be Gwen playing that one. I'd really like to see the SF go mid. Sure, bot lane might be a little bit hard, and you just like last pick a Gyrocopter or something that can lane against this Darkseer or Faceless Void would be okay with me. I'd like to see them get a new carry, because I really think that Shadow Fiend with Ags really hard counters the CK. And from the carry position, not so good. So that could be really good for them, but it looks like they're just going to go for a Clockwork instead, throwing the most likely Tiny mid and carry SF. This one, not as big of a fan of. Obviously, Sand King can get out of that pretty easily, but it is a black hole cancel if you have the right angle, which is nice. You also have Roar for that. And the laning stage, I think their plan is to potentially shut down Celery there.
Okay, I'm also a bit confused. I would have liked the pivot that Fear was talking about with their type of core heroes, put the SF mid, but so they're going with the clock. I wonder if there's also anything I'm not seeing that they want to rotate early on or do something funky with their lanes, because at least for now, I think Gamin again have stronger lanes. The only thing I can see for Liquid is that with the Beast Axe, they help him a lot early, that they get this timing to get the Aegis. But if Beast doesn't have a good lane and they stack for him, and then Gamin bring the Sand King over there, I feel like that could be really, really bad for Team Liquid.
I'm just nervous for that CK lane. You said they're going to try to pressure Celery with the Clockwork, but he's got Eidolons to protect himself against the battery assaults. I'm looking forward to a little bit of pinball action with the new Cog facet, but at the end of the day, as we heard from the coach in the interview, I think it's the same story being told here. We're already about 2/3 of the way through the chapters, and I think we all know the conclusion.
Whew. For your final words?
Well, it's not going to be the easiest game for them, but they do have potential with Shadow Fiend and the Beastmaster just to snowball up. Hopefully Boxy hits some great holes. If they can start the fights on the Enigma and the Shadow Fiend can win his lane, I think that's their best chance.
Seems like Team Liquid has got quite the job to do here in this 3rd game of this best of 5 grand finals. Gamin Gladiators can, if they win this, take the title here of champions at Riyadh Masters. This is the 6th grand finals they play against Team Liquid, and at the moment it might just look like it's the same result as the previous 5 times. This one maybe even feeling a little bit more dominant than the rest. Let's find out what's going to happen in this 3rd game of this best of 5 together with Cap and SVG.
That's right, it may be the worst position that Liquid has ever been in their history, their long history against Gamin Gladiators. But Avery, when the night is darkest, what's just around the corner?
More curseness?
The dawn, the light. Surely the light is just around the corner, you know? Maybe this is the start of something beautiful. It would be a beautiful story if they manage reverse sweep. Reverse sweeps come few and far between in DOTA.
I'll say this, Austin. When you go to me to be, the panel had their discussions. We heard the words of the panelists. We saw which way they were leaning. We saw how they felt about the situation. I've heard what you had to say about it. When you're looking to me, to bring the hope in the situation? I feel like we've gone off the rails somewhere. I don't know if that's what my brand is known for, but I assume it's not. But is there hope here? Is there a way back from the bottom of this pit of despair that Liquid find themselves in? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little story that I think a lot of people can relate to, Austin. I think every Dota player has been in that pit of darkness.
Everyone.
They have been at the bottom. Many of these players have gone through the ups and downs, and they have been at the down, and they know how bad that feeling is, and they have all gotten through it to get back to this moment. And that is proof, if you are Liquid right now, that you can reverse sweep this series. Because there is always a way back.